Morning, YTPC. How's it going? Smurfing Alley here. Oh, what's up, Morrissey? Just doing my morning school duties. And smoking some RLP6 in my flat cap piper, winning my awesome little bent egg St. Patrick's Day piper. Oh, the Emerald is what it's called. It's a lovely cob. Lovely. And I've smoked it many, many times. But I forgot the question that Flat Cap was asking us in his goss, so I gotta go back and watch the video again. What a dummy, huh? Fortunately, my friend Ben also has a GAW going on. His 100 sub GAW. Congratulations, Ben. They say the first 100 is hardest to get. I don't know about that, bro. I think I've heard after the first 500 they start coming. Something like that. But good job anyways, bro. I don't mean to belittle your accomplishments. Flat cap. Obviously not flat cap. IronBrigadePiper. Ben. IronBrigadePiper. All one word. With caps at the beginning of each IronBrigadePiper. I've shouted them out before. Everyone should just be sub to them already. Ben wants to know who influenced you, who was your idol, your hero growing up. And I wasn't sure if he meant fictional heroes or real life ones. But this one's easy. Because my hero, real life or fictional, is not Goku. I love Goku, but it's my dad. It is my dad. He is one heck of a guy, man. And you wouldn't know it by just meeting him. Sometimes. My dad's actually really good at making friends. People like my dad, but he's a real quiet guy. And I get that from him, I guess. Not the quiet part, but I can make friends really easily. And his wheels are always turning. And he says something when it's important and needs to be said. Otherwise, he'll stay out of the mess. He will stay out of it. And God bless him for it. Because there's a lot of family drama in my family, and he just doesn't care, and I don't either. In fact, I do care. I care so much that I will distance myself from my family just to stay away from it. You know, real drama's one thing, but this contrived, petty shit's gotta go. But anyways, my dad was born in Oklahoma, in Elk City. And he moved out here. He was born in 51. He moved out here in, like, 61. And before that, he lived in Texas, in Colorado. He lived a few places. But his mom and dad ended up over here in Los Angeles. The suburbs of LA. And he graduated Paramount High School, not too far from East LA. along with my mom, and that's where they met, Paramount High School. And you know, I respect the hell out of my parents for still being married, because they went through some real rough times. I mean, no affairs and crap like that. But they went through some pretty rough times and some pretty bad behaviors and some pretty good times, poor times, you know, all that stuff. But they honored that commitment. They honored the commitment to stay married all those years. You know, and I'm 43. I think they've been married a year longer than I've been alive, so 44 years. You know, and I don't have too many friends, or even know too many people, period, whose parents are still together in their adult life. And that's a big deal. It's a real big deal. And, you know, I know when I was a kid, there was talks of them splitting up, and even in my dad sometimes in the car would be like, all right, boys, who do you want to live with? But you shouldn't do that with your kids, but it's all right. I liked it when he did, because I was mad at my mom sometimes too. And I would live with him. Mom's crazy. God love her. My dad was a wild man in his youth. He was a lifelong rock and roller. He's a record collector. He's been collecting records since the 50s, when he's a little kid. And he's got thousands and thousands of albums. And he sold a lot of them during some hard times. Some really great stuff. A lot of his more rare, eclectic stuff. Man, people. Are you stupid? Go ahead, lady. And he's into almost any kind of rock and roll. And in the 60s, you know, he grew up with all the rock and roll hits that we love on the radio. And then as he grew into his teenage years, further into the 60s, he started to develop his own style a little more. And he got into a lot of psych and a lot of garage, and what they would call punk back then, which was pre-punk. Fuzzy guitars, psychedelic sounds, a little bit of do-it-yourself ethic. I mean, there were popular garage bands, but there was a lot of local bands too. They never made it real big, and my dad knows a lot of bands and a lot of music and a lot of trivia. Boy, let me tell you, my dad is knowledgeable. And I guess in his day he was kind of a trendsetter, and he was pretty influential at school and stuff, and you know. And later when I became a teenager, I knew how cool my dad was, and I listened to a lot of the same stuff he did, all that 60s stuff. And even in the late 70s and early 80s, when punk rock came out and new wave, he got into some of that too. And that's where I got introduced to the Ramones and X and Susie and the Banshees, the Clash, Devo, all kinds of bands. And I, you know, went ahead and flew with that later. My friends in my neighborhood that grew up with me all really loved and respected my dad. He was real cool. He was real fun to talk to, and he knows a lot of stuff. And when he was selling his records, a lot of them went to my friends, which made him happy that he knew where his records were going, to good homes and places where if I ever wanted to listen to it, I could go to my friend's house and borrow it even. My dad, if he felt horrible selling those records, I mean, that's what he's got to leave to me, basically. And don't get me wrong, he's still got a lot of records. My dad's the hardest working guy I've ever known. He makes me look bad every day by how hard he works. He really does. He works, I mean, he's 66 years old, and he works 15-hour days, 5 times a week, sometimes 6. And we live in Southern California. It's not easy. It's not easy. If I moved to Ohio or Texas or somewhere, I'd be paying a lot less rent. That's for darn sure. I'm not quite sure how he did it all those years. There were 6 of us, including my mom. And we struggled. We struggled quite a bit, but I can't say I never went without something I needed. And I even had a lot of things I wanted. Mom and Dad made sure that happened. And they may have went to some extreme lengths to do it sometimes. But that's what being a parent's about, isn't it? So a huge influence on my life. My dad was also a comic book collector when he was a kid. He sold his collection so I could be born, unfortunately. But as soon as I was old enough to pick up a comic book, he had me in the comic book store. And not just comic books, books too. My dad's a huge reader. And I used to be a huge reader myself, but as my eyes get a little older, I do read less. It's harder to concentrate. And the letters are blurring and stuff. I do wish I read more of that, and the advent of all this technology leaves us not as much time to do things like read, unfortunately, and a lot of reading's been replaced with video watching, which is good and bad, I guess. My dad's an extremely intelligent man. He drives a truck for a living, but I think he could have been a scientist or a physicist or something crazy. He's a very, very smart guy. And he's full of all kinds of wisdom. And on top of all that, I mean, he's a very kind man with a very good heart. He could be cold as ice too, though, boy. I've seen my dad spring into action like Conan the Barbarian a few times. And growing up where we grew up, that was bound to happen, I guess. My whole family, when I was a kid, was approached and attacked a few times when I was a kid. And my mom and dad could both get physical with people. And I've seen my dad tear some crap up. I saw him and his brother one time take down a whole bunch of dudes. protecting his family. And there's nothing more that I can respect than that. I can't respect anything more than that. Stepped up in every way, shape, and form. Physically, mentally, spiritually. He worked his butt off. Still working his butt off. I love you, Dad. Thank you very much. I love you so much. I hope I get to talk to you soon. Thank you, Ben, for the GA. This VR is for you, buddy. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Take it easy, and who knows, I may be back. Share Kevin Twiner's GoFundMe page, please. Donate. Please. $1, $2, $10, whatever you can spare, please. He needs all the help he can get. That house is a disaster. So please, I'll put the link in the box and in the comments. We're at 6:20. Not too bad. Not too bad, guys. You know, it's been, well, this is the 4th day, I guess. And we have received some pretty nice donations. Some very, very nice donations. Thank you very much, everybody. Everyone have a real good day.